Hi, welcome to the Lorcana Muses podcast. My name is Stephanie.
And I'm Brittany.
And we're so excited to be sharing this new journey with you guys as we dive into the world of podcasting and Lorcana. We're starting this podcast as two best friends who have loved Disney their entire lives and are really loving the game and the community behind it and everything that it has to offer. I have only played TCGs a little bit throughout my life, a little bit of Pokemon here and there, and a little bit now of One Piece as well, but Lorcana has my heart, my soul, my identity. What I think is unique about our podcast is that we're both coming from a competitive player as well as a casual player, myself being more casual. However, I am leaning towards more of the competitive side as I have a personal vendetta against a friend of ours to beat him and to win. So here we are. I have loved playing Steel since set 1 and have been dabbling with all the different colors that can go with Steel. Right now I've landed on red Steel, which has been a lot of fun with the control that I have as well as discarding every card in my opponent's hand. But as I've found playing against other colors and other players in our community, I have since put down Steel and picked up green, so now I am red-green. And that has been a ton of fun to play as well.
I would say that I definitely lean more competitively, mostly because I play competitively often with my husband. And I love to go to several local game stores throughout the week to play in their different leagues. And I love to join in on the bigger tournaments on weekends and things like that. I have been a Christmas girly through and throughout my entire time of playing Lorcana, and I've dabbled here and there in other colors, but green and red are my home base, and I love it there.
This is our first podcast between the two of us. We really saw an opportunity as two females playing TCGs as well as two different players and as best friends, just kind of talking more about just the different dynamics of the game, what casual players kind of want more the competitive players to know and vice versa. We love going to the local game stores and we've met a ton of awesome, amazing people and have really grown that community here in Phoenix. So we're really excited to join you guys and have you guys join us on this journey, and we're looking forward to all the input you guys have for us. And if you have questions, definitely email us at the lorcanamuses@gmail.com. So for our first episode, we really wanted to just give you guys an introduction of who we are and just our introduction to the game and what we love to see and what we're excited to see as set 5 is approaching very fast. I think my favorite card so far has been, I think what really drew me to the game at first is when set 1 dropped and that yellow Hades King of Olympus. That was a really fun card for me as a long-time Hercules lover. It's probably my top 3 Disney movie ever. And seeing something that I've never imagined as Hades, since he's usually the bad guy in the underworld, seeing him on Mountain Olympus with golden hair was just an absolutely gorgeous card. And then seeing the enchanted version of that card got me hooked. I needed to know more. I needed absolutely the entire set. Ran out, got us starter decks, which was definitely a chore to get, as everybody I'm sure remembers in the set 1 and set 2 drops.
I will say that my favorite card right now has to be Super Goof. I love the fact that he's like a superhero and I love playing him. Goofy's been one of my favorite characters forever, and I think it's so fun to see him in kind of more serious role as a superhero. And I would love to have pulled his Enchanted, but have not. But his Enchanted in that card looks amazing as well. I will say that would be from set 4, but I still love from green. I love the Cursed Merfolk card, not just from its playability, but the Little Mermaid and Ursula is my favorite villain, and I love having that Cursed Merfolk as a card in itself because it's not a common character. And I have this cup that we actually got from Disney that has merfolks all around the outside of it, along with Ursula's tentacles. And so that card reminds me of that cup that I got from Disney. And so it's just kind of a fun playback to that.
It's very cool looking. If you guys ever, we'll have to post a picture up on our social media, but it is absolutely really rad to see. And for her to bring out when she's playing Lorcana and she's just pouring water into this cup to drink and totally intimidate her opponents. I think my progression in Lorcana has been interesting as a casual player. My first deck was Steel Sapphire, just the Chapter 2 starter deck, and I really loved Steel. That's where I fell in love with it. And I liked Sapphire, but I wasn't too keen on all the items available, as well as just being able to ink quicker. I never really found a useful tactic for that other than being able to put more characters out than my opponent, but I was getting smashed constantly by Be Prepareds and Dragonfires and I mean whatever else there was out there. Tinkerbell's played against me even though she was in my deck currently. I think I've really found my stride with Emerald and Ruby. It's really fun to play, which kind of brings me into my favorite card ever, which is Bucky, or the evil squirrel, as I like to say upon entry. He really does work. He discards your hand, and then I usually play it with Flynn Rider, who quests for 4 as long as you have no cards in your opponent has no cards in your hand. So it's a really fun time.
Is it though? Is it really?
It really is, especially when I'm trying to play you and our friends and win more.
Yeah, but playing against the squirrel is so irritating. I like having cards in my hand.
That's so fair. I do. That brings up mirror matches when I was just doing the green steel deck with Bucky were awful to get through because we were just discarding both of our hands and top decking the entire match. Which one of us can get to 20 lore the quickest? It's a grind when we're playing mirror matches against Bucky for sure. I think my least favorite card at the moment is the Aerial Sonic Warrior. I feel sad saying that because I was really excited when she was announced for set 4, and then when I got her and was trying to build a deck with her, but I couldn't make her work without using Amber, and I'm not an Amber player. So just the fact that she has 8 health, is it? And then she does 3 damage when you sing her and then pay 2 ink, which is insane. 2 damage I feel like I could handle because then at least some of my 1 drops or other drops that have 3 health would survive. But nope, she completely wrecks them all.
So I started with the red-green starter deck, and I really liked it. Only played it for like a brief period of time, but I did use it as my basis. I altered it to add more evasive characters and played that for most of set 2. We didn't really get started until set 2 because of the lack of product, both locally and like with the box chains and everything. Also just timing of everything. We were just really busy when set 1 came out. So when set 2 came out is when my husband and I started playing. And then we started getting the rest of our friends and family involved. As we got closer to the holidays, we bought boxes and things for people as Christmas presents and starter decks and things like that. I'm currently still red-green. I went green, yellow, discard for a very brief moment. It was like for 2 weeks or something. But now I'm currently red-green. It's an aggro-based deck right now. It's constantly changing though. I'm having a bit of an identity crisis when it comes to my deck, especially leading into this next set of set championships. In the first set of set championships, I did end up winning a Stitch, which was super exciting, but I have not felt as confident in playing ever since then. I feel like I'm constantly trying to be that good again and then struggling to get there. So I'm trying to build that new deck for set championships, I'm trying to think about what is currently being played locally for the most. And we have a lot of green steel discard, a lot of red blue, a lot of red purple. Those are all pretty much the mainstays. We're getting a lot more blue steels getting built in.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a few random decks thrown in here and there, some aggros, and then Steel Song is seeing some resurgence. That is my least favorite deck to play against. Probably because it has been the bane of my existence since I began playing. It doesn't matter what iteration of my color combinations I'm playing, that deck seems to always have the answer. I've always been able to at least avoid most of the other decks or figure out how to play against them. For some reason, that combination of the amber and steel together just hits my deck just right. Doesn't matter what it is. I will say one of my favorite versions of my deck that doesn't quite work anymore because of how people play now. I had a red-green location-based deck using Jim Hawkins as and the RLS Legacy is kind of the backbone. I loved playing that. There's a lot more answers for locations now since Set 4 came out. And so I don't get to play that as often. And I it's definitely where my heart is I love that idea of having the locations and flying there and things like that. But it right now, those locations don't have enough keeping them alive to be worth it. I would say my least favorite singular card would probably be Tinkerbell because I have so many characters that are just so low health.
The big Tink, right?
Yeah, the big steel Tinkerbell. The giant fairy, when she comes in on entry, she does that damage everywhere. And that's just so unnecessary.
Annoying.
Yes.
And then when she banishes somebody, she does even more damage.
Yeah. And so even if she doesn't kill everything on entry, she kills it the next turn anyway because she can hit one of them. And then she can send that damage to my evasive characters. If I have one or two that are not evasive, then she sends it to the evasive characters. So she's definitely a frustrating card to play against. Steel in general is a difficult matchup for me,
which is why I love it.
It's a difficult combination for me with how I play red green.
I think that kind of brings up, it's so interesting to see which color combinations do poorly against other color combinations and vice versa, because I don't always win against Steel Song, but I have won more matches now with the red green deck I'm playing, but it's different than your red green. I'm doing more of the discard and kind of getting rid of all their songs so they can't play them. But I can't stand blue steel. So the items trip me up. I can't get rid of them, or they're either fishing for more items and they're 20 ink deep and, they're bottom decking at this point. So that's kind of where I fall. I'm really excited for Set 5 and to see what it'll bring. I think there was so much potential with Set 4, but with my current iteration, and it sounds like yours, there isn't a ton of room for Set 4. I think sets 1 through 3 really work well together. They really synergize. And then Set 4 kind of changed the game just a little bit more that I can't figure out where to go from there, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. I feel like ever since Set 4 came out, I've been kind of trying to keep my head above water, trying to get what I want to work. There were so many characters that I was super excited about trying to figure out how to play.
Yep.
Like the Shift Mulan and things like that. I was so excited to play her, and she doesn't play as well as I was hoping. And so like she's not in my deck because I'm so much lower to the ground right now with my aggro idea. When I was playing mid-range control, I put her in there for a hot minute, but she has too many things that need to happen for her to work in the way you want her to work. I really like the new Pegasus. I think that's a great card and a great combination with the Shift package. I really like Super Goof. Like there are a handful of cards that I really like that I think really work well, but overall as a set, I don't think it's as strong.
Yeah. I think Set 2 is probably my favorite set to come out. It just kind of changed the game just a little bit more from Set 1. Set 3 was interesting because it introduced locations, which was a lot of fun. And like you said, I wish I could build a location deck that would do work. I'm always constantly thinking about theme decks, and I would love to do a theme deck with locations. at one point during set 3 for a while, actually, I had a Titan deck. So I ran all of the Titans in purple and steel, and then ran Hercules, and I ran Zeus, and I absolutely loved playing it. Like I said, Hercules is one of my favorite movies, but it wasn't winning against the metas. It wasn't winning against any of the more aggressive players. So, as much fun as it's been, I'm trying to show up at the championships this next month and actually place somewhere not at the bottom. So, that's where I kind of turn to Emerald Ruby. But I'm really, really, really excited for set 5. We've already seen a ton of really fun characters with the Wreck-It Ralph characters and all the Candy and all the Sugar Crush characters. They're so cute. They're fun. I really hope they kind of continue to build upon that and add more. The new Scar looks like a lot of fun to play in green. I love a card that anytime I do something, I can draw a card. I think draw power is so important in this game. The fact that he's warded is excellent because that kind of protects him from a lot of the Steel Song cards, except for Grab Your Swords, which is going to be a big pain.
I really like the Minnie and Mickey, how they kind of synergize together. I love the extended art cards. So like with the Minnie and Mickey and the Flotsam and Jetsam, and when you have any characters where you can put them right next to each other and you can see that art continuing. My husband and I, whenever we've gotten these enchantments, we've gotten the extended art border things to put them in for display. So I'd love to be able to do that with more cards. I think that Stitch card, the new Steel one, the Team Underdog one, it looks like he's playing the rope game.
Tug of War?
Tug of War, that's the game. With somebody else. I think this is going to be another extended art card.
Oh.
So I'm really excited to see what that would be.
What's really tripping me up with that card is the Steel logo in purple. And I heard rumblings on Twitter or X, I'm going to call it Twitter from now on, that some of these cards, if it's like a steel card, they'll put a different color inside the card that like that card will very specifically synergize well with. So like this card would be awesome for the purple bounce because you could bounce Stitch continuously and keep damaging and peppering people. So that was kind of a fun theory. I'm a huge fan theorist and love fan theories, so this was a lot of fun for me. I'm really excited. Stitch is, again, also I think top 4 favorite movies. Definitely would go a Goofy movie, Hercules, Little Mermaid, and then Princess and the Frog. But Lilo and Stitch, it would be hard for me. Some days I think Princess and the Frog leaves, and then I add in Lilo and Stitch. It just depends on the mood.
Yeah, so I'll say my favorite movie is definitely Beauty and the Beast. I've seen it probably 8 million times, and Bella's my favorite princess, and I have this yellow dress that I like to wear, and I've been told by my students that I look like Belle, so it makes me very excited when I wear it. And then Peter Pan is also a favorite of mine, probably because it's my mom's favorite movie, and I love the sassiness of Tinkerbell, even if the Tinkerbell Big Fairy card is my least favorite card. It is still one of my favorite movies. I actually like the Tinkerbell card in green.
Yeah, the evasive
one. I think she's fantastic. I will say Little Mermaid is really high up on my list, mostly because Ursula is the best villain. She is amazing.
I think you'll find with us as we continue on this podcast journey, we are villain girls. We love the villains. We will talk about the villains all day, every day. So yes, Ursula is probably one of the best villains.
Yes, absolutely. And I was talking about how Peter Pan is one of my favorite movies, mostly because I also love Captain Hook. He's so fantastic. My cousin's favorite character was Captain Hook, and so it holds a special place in my heart when I'm remembering her. And then I would also say I love Aladdin because I think Aladdin and Jasmine are such a great power couple, and just love A Whole New World. Not necessarily the card, because card can be a little frustrating, but that song is amazing. Actually, all the songs from that movie just slap.
They just slap. I mean, honestly, put Robin Williams in a room. He's a terrific actor. I think he did an amazing job doing Peter Pan himself when he was. So I absolutely love Robin Williams, and I think he really sells Aladdin for me. So So I think it's fun because all of her favorite movies have cards. They've seen a lot of great iterations of the movies inside of Lorcana, which is awesome to see. I'm still holding out for a Goofy movie, which is my favorite, absolute top movie. And it's one that when I hear people have never seen, I absolutely need to sit them down and watch it because it's just such a heartfelt, terrific movie. Goofy's an amazing character. I think he's always been one of my favorites when it comes down to the like original Mickey and Friends characters. I adore Goofy.
And he's such a great dad.
He is. He's such a great single dad pulling it. And, Max is a typical teenager. It's funny watching the movie as an adult than as a kid. And now you side more with Goofy and you feel more for Goofy. And you're like, Max, just spend time with your dad. But no, I really hope they end up putting a Goofy movie in there. I'm really excited for this set. At least brought a lot more of the Hercules. The Muses have been fun.
Such a great card.
I love that Hera's in there. I wish I could figure out how to make her work a little bit more. I'm kind of hoping there'll be more cards coming down the line, and it sounds like there will be. And then I would also love more Princess and the Frog. I think this one is one of my favorite newer-ish Disney movies. My daughter absolutely loves The Princess and the Frog. She was obsessed with that movie for about 2 years, so it was on loop in our house, and I never got tired of it. Dr. Facilier is, again, a terrific villain. He's really fun. His songs are really fun.
He laid poor Ray low.
Keith David, I mean, I can't even with him. His voice acting is terrific. I think it would be a lot of fun to see more of Tiana and Naveen as frogs in maybe Lorcana.
Absolutely.
That would be a lot of fun. So, and I would love to see Charlotte. I don't know if does Charlotte have a card?
I don't think she does. Daddy does.
Big Daddy does, and we need Charlotte because she is a bestie that every bestie deserves because she was right there for Tiana the entire movie.
Snaps for that. I am really looking forward to possibly seeing Chip and Dale and maybe even the Rescue Rangers.
Yes.
That was one of my favorite shows growing up. It's they're my sister's favorite characters, Chip and Dale. And honestly, out of all the characters that you can meet in the Disney parks, Chip and Dale are the absolute
They're always
best.
so fun.
They're so fun. They're always on it. And they're so silly and, a little rambunctious. And I think that's just fun. And I think that if they are in cards, that I can't even imagine what those cards would do, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're just there to mess things up,
They're
right?
going to mess things up. I feel like it's the rodents of Lorcana that are really messing the game. Think of Bucky.
And Hiram.
And then even Stitch, who isn't a rodent, but he's like a creature, just kind of messes things up. I love all the creatures that are coming to Lorcana and that we're focusing on some of the like deeper cuts, like Great Mouse Detective and DuckTales and Chip and Dale, possibly. That'd be so fun.
So another thing I really love about this game is the community that we're building.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband is running a Discord for our local Phoenix area players.
Mm-hmm.
And we put all of the events from all the local game stores on there. Yeah. And we're really working on building up this community of being able to play in person, but also have an online place for people to land. There's some Facebook groups and things that are also pretty active. But I just really love interacting and playing with people in person. I've met so many wonderful people playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something that I wasn't seeing when I was playing Magic. It was a really difficult community to be felt welcome in. And Lorcana, I haven't felt that at all. And I will just say that while there's still going to be those negative people that are playing any game, that's just how all things work in life. There's not always going to be positive people in general. Lorcana is just a outright positive community that is there to support each other and to have fun and play a game that, it's this Disney princess card game, right? It's one of those things that like you can't be completely negative about it. You're going to be playing with princesses, right?
Honestly.
So, however competitive we can be, it's still a card game that's based around awesome, fun characters that are based on kids movies, right? So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that I just really love being able to, see the same people every week at different stores. My husband and I regularly play at 4 different local game stores, depending on the day of the week, in different formats. So we mostly play constructed, but occasionally we'll play draft. And we just really like having that community built up. Different stores have a different vibe, but they all in general have supportive people.
Yeah, no, it's really great. And I think, um, so I'm a mom of two young girls and a millennial. So I've always grown up loving Disney. I think we both have. And I think it was hard when you are a mom and two young children, or even any age children, to get out and meet new people and meet new friends. And then this card game kind of fell into our laps, and getting out more and being able to have designated days where I can go and talk to adults and play this game, but still have be able to talk about our lives and what's going on in our jobs or with our kids. And what's even cool too, and I saw a little bit of this with Pokemon, is that kids are playing this game. So I feel like it's an open community for my daughter when she gets just a little bit older. She's learning how to read now, and she's so excited to play Lorcana. But I see so many kids come out to these game stores to play with their moms and dads or cousins or friends, and everybody in the community is so welcoming to them. And it's just been really, really awesome to see. So I'm really excited. And the game stores that we've all frequented, I think we've gotten a really good rhythm in who goes where, and the grown a really good rapport with everybody. Our Discord really helps with. It's not just for finding which championships are playing where, which tournaments are playing where, but we chit chat and we talk and we deck build together and we talk about upcoming spoilers for Chapter 5, and just really share, oh, I had a hard day. Who wants to meet up at, North Valley Games to play Lorcana or whatever it is, for even if it's not a designated night, just to go out and play and have fun and trade or just hang out. So I really think we're building a really wonderful community here in Phoenix. So I think what's fun with the community that we've built on Discord and Facebook and everything is we are a lot more organized, I think, for this next upcoming set championship. We've all shared, who's going where and what days which stores are holding their championships and signing up. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm really excited. That's coming up in just a few weeks. I finally have a deck that I think will do pretty decently. So
I'm really excited to see how this goes. Like I said, I've been really had an identity crisis with my deck, so I'm not sure how it's going to go. I really would love to win this Ursula.
I think I'm also just so excited for that Ursula card. She's gorgeous. She is a lot more, I think, that is a sought after card than Stitch was. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Stitch. My biggest problem with that Stitch card was, why is his jacket unbuttoned and he's winking at me? It was just weird.
I think it's because he's supposed to be the king, baby.
I know what he's supposed to be.
With his Elvis obsession, I love it because it just shows his character so much.
No, I can see why everybody loves it. I just was never super into it, but this Ursula, I need her. She is gorgeous. She's beautiful. The mat looks so fun. I'm very excited.
I'm so pumped. Like I said, she is one of my absolute favorite characters. She's my favorite villain for sure. I have cosplayed as her before, and so I love her to death. But yeah, I'm just always so excited. I for the set championships got a shirt that says "Poor Unfortunate Souls," and I got a set of ears that have tentacles coming off of them. I am pumped.
That is what we're seeing a lot too, is that people just like to get dressed up, whether it's for the set championships or for the challenges. I think one of our friends went to the one in Chicago and saw actual cosplayers there playing. And I think that's so cool. Is I don't know if I was seeing that a lot I never played Magic, but I didn't see that in Pokemon a ton anyways. And I didn't not seeing that in One Piece, but I love that you're seeing that in Lorcana, that I'm going to a store to seemingly play a serious game and try to win, but then your opponent is wearing Disney ears and wearing a Disney shirt. And I've bought specific Disney shirts for this. I have bought really great shirts. One is a Goofy that's kind of seemingly falling from the sky, and he says "Gorsh," which I love when he does that. And then I have obviously a Goofy movie shirt that's Roxanne and Max on it. So I'm very excited to wear those and rep those.
And I recently got a Muses shirt, so to help rep our podcast. And I am so excited. I have a bunch of other Disney shirts. I've been buying shirts more often because I recently had some very big changes, and so I've had to buy a lot of clothes. And so I been buying lots of Disney shirts to go with Lorcana nights. We went to a theme night a few weeks ago for Pride, and we went and made rainbow decks, and that was super fun. It was a very strange way to play with, all 6 colors, yeah. But it was fun. But a lot of people were dressed up then too, all more with Disney Pride type themes, yeah. And so it was really fun. But yeah, I just really like how everybody is
just getting so into it. Like even my husband, who has never been a big Disney fan, he wasn't not a fan growing up. They just never really got into it as big as I would say us. We are true blue Disney adults over here. But he loves the cards, and he loves how, his favorite characters are on these cards. He's always had a really soft spot for Piglet and Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh was one of his favorite go-tos as a kid. So he tried his best to make a Amber Steel deck with all the Piglets, including the new one. And it was a lot of fun. There was definitely legs there. But he is going a little bit more competitive of a deck for these championships. You can't see her, but she is shaking her head, Brittany, because it's a nasty deck and it will probably do work. But he just really wants to win. There's currently a bet going on right now between our husbands. So my husband is big into One Piece, very big. Loved the show as a kid and watched it all growing up, and now is playing the card game. And we would like more people to play with us. So we've been trying to slowly push our friends into playing One Piece, which I know Brittany never will.
Not an anime fan.
Not an anime fan, but I know her husband likes anime, so we've been trying to push him. And he said that if my husband could win or top 3,
as long as he gets the card.
As long as he gets the card, he would buy a starter deck and start playing and trying it out. So that's what my husband is kind of pushing for at the moment, which is so fun to see. I think it's so cool because the two of them have, well, my husband doesn't really have a big competitive nature to him. He's very much laid back and goes with the flow and doesn't really try to push any boundaries. And
what is that like?
Her husband is probably the opposite of that.
Absolute opposite. He is the most competitive person I know.
But I've seen mine just kind of, I don't want to say blossom into this card game and really like getting competitive and playing and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And he's allergic to anything meta, so he's been trying to work on decks that nobody's thought of, but
he's
will
too
do
hipster
work. Yes, he's too hipster for that. But I think currently what he's made is really fun, and he's gonna try it out this next week and see how it goes leading up to set champs. And we are very, very excited, and also very excited to see how Brittany and her husband do at the challenge in Dallas. She and actually quite a few people in our Discord in Phoenix are going, so they're excited.
Yeah, we're right now currently only have the attendee tickets, so I'm still on the wait list for the other one. But yeah, Daryl and I are both going and doing the attendee, so all the side events at the Fort Worth challenge, and so I'm super excited. I was born in Texas, so we're probably going to see some family out there while we're there. And it'll just be a fun summer trip, before I go back to school.
Yeah, this is her first one. Her husband, Daryl, has been to the Chicago one where he was a player and not an attendee.
Yeah, and he had fun, but he didn't.
We don't talk about Bruno. No, but it was fun. He's like I said, he's a competitive player, so I think he wanted to try it out and play with a bunch of people that are all over the United States. And I know he's been trying to get the ticket to play as a player, right, at Fort Worth.
Yeah, so we are both still on that list to
Yeah.
be players at Fort Worth. So we'll see if that happens as it gets closer. But we're just so excited. We have so many family and friends that play this game now, and we're just excited to see where it goes from here. My husband's sister and brother are both really into it. His sister and her boyfriend are on the judge route when it comes to the challenges. They are judges for those, so it's pretty awesome that they had that opportunity and they tried a different route in Lorcana. They're still playing locally, but they're really focused on, doing the judge route. And when the official judging comes out at some point, I know they're both interested in doing that too. So I think they like that side of things. We have some other friends that are really liking the organizing of people or organizing
collecting
and collecting. There's a lot of collectors out here. So there's just so many facets to this game and different ways that you can be involved and love it. And you can love it as a casual player. You can love it as a casual collector. We have a friend that it's their lot in life every time a new set comes out to make sure that they have one of every card in foil, and and they won't buy more cards afterward. They have to trade for them, and it's like a
kind of a game, almost a challenge,
yeah. And that's just one of their things, and they're going to keep the whole set for their son as basically a college
tuition eventually
or something. Well, if it'll eventually maybe be that valuable, but we've been excited. We're always excited if we open an enchanted. We open an enchanted.
What's
Elsa.
that like? For those of you who don't know, I think I have pulled one enchanted this entire time, and it's the bane of my existence at this point. Let her tell you how many enchanted she has.
Yeah, my husband and I think have opened 7 enchanteds, maybe even more. And so it's been pretty awesome with that. We did open the Elsa, which is, the be all end all when it comes to opening an enchanted, and we just got her grading back from PSA and she came back as a 10. And so,
yay!
So excited about that. And
there's discourse there on what to do with her.
Yes, absolutely. I would want to keep her. My husband wants to trade for a Cinderella from one of the challenges, and so we don't know what to do with it yet, but it's definitely a fun debate to have.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to have that shared interest. My husband and I, we have lots of shared interests, but this is just something that it's time and fun, and it's just something to do together that's outside of the house and inside the air conditioning, especially in Arizona, because
it is too hot.
Definitely too hot, especially right now. So go to your local game store. That's where it's at.
Yeah, definitely. I think some of the best ones to play, I know there's Baxter's in Queen Creek and North Valley Games now in Mesa and in Phoenix. Recreation is in Chandler.
And we have Authority in Mesa.
Thoria in Tempe.
Gamers Guild
in Tempe.
We have Old World Games in Scottsdale. And that's a lot that are on closer to us, but there's a bunch in our local area.
There's more in Tucson, which is further south than we are, about 2 hours. There's some up north in Prescott.
There's Phoenix Gaming Lounge.
Yeah.
But yeah, Arizona is chock full of local game stores that have gaming communities, and I know several of the communities are growing at different stores. I know that there's some people that are playing at Desert Games Mesa and things like that, as we're trying to build up more places to play this awesome game.
Yeah, and just to have different nights to play and different options. I think with that said, I definitely want to hear more from everybody, and I hope you enjoy our podcast as we continue to figure things out and talk more Lorcana, build this community up, and hopefully you enjoy maybe a little bit of a different perspective as females, millennials, casual players, and competitive players, and just two best friends trying to enjoy a shared interest and get more out of it. You can definitely email us questions or topics or things you want to see on our podcast at thelorcanamuses@gmail.com.
You can also message us on Instagram and make sure you follow us at the Lorcana Muses podcast. You can also tweet us on
Yes.
X. That one is at Lorcana Muses Pod because it had to be shorter than the other ones. And we'd love to hear more from you because, like we said, we're all about building a community, and we'd love this community to be built up together. We expect our next podcast to come out in a few weeks. We're going to be talking about set 5 releases, talk about those championships after we've been to a few, and see what other news has been out.
Yeah, and definitely provide tips too. I think that's important.
Yeah.
On championships. This is kind of my first one. So as a casual player going into competitive scene, first time, I will share some tips for everybody who's trying to get into the game. So, and then definitely as a competitive player too.
Absolutely. So this is Brittany. Thank you so much for listening to at the Lorcana Muses podcast.
And this is Stephanie. Thank you guys so much and have a great day.